Alright, so I've added a couple more parts. I threw the coil packs on each side, and I put the intake on, and I installed this head crossover tube here. So now I think I'm going to do the exhaust manifolds. For right now, I'll show you what I have for manifolds. I've kind of collected a few over the years, and I'll show you what I got. Alright, so here's what I have. I actually have two more, but I'm pretty sure the other two are not going to work. So it looks like this one and this one are actually the same thing. One just has a super rotted heat shield. And then that one, I don't know what it's from. Maybe a Camaro? I don't know. One of the viewers can probably tell me. And then I have this one, which I assume is the stock one from the 6-liter truck. The only problem is it's got a broken bolt on the bottom of it. So I'm gonna pick two that will probably work. I think I'll probably go with this one for the driver's side. And then I'm going to rip the heat shield off of this probably, which won't take much. And I'll probably just compare the steel one here and the cast iron one here and see which one fits better. If I use this one, I'm going to have to come up with some block offs for these two ports, or I'll just cut them off and weld them up. But yeah, I guess that's where I'm going to start. I guess I'm going to fit the passenger sides on and see which one fits better. Alright, let's go. Okay, so what I've just discovered is down here, this ear on the side of the Turbo 400 transmission, that is going to hit the exhaust pipe if I use the steel exhaust manifold. If I use this cast iron one, it looks like it's going to clear. So, in this case, I guess I'm going to use the cast iron manifold on the passenger side, and then the other side, I'm just going to use the better of the two since they're both the same manifold. Alright, so I guess the next step is to somehow deal with this problem. It looks like it's been cut off, so I guess maybe I'll try to drill it out. I'm honestly not exactly sure. I'm gonna stew on this for a couple minutes. Okay, so I got it in the vise, and I just I just started drilling the center of this out. So I guess I'm going to start off with a small drill bit. I'm going to drill out the whole center of the bolt. On this side, there's nothing to grab it by. If I could have, I probably would have put some vice grips on this side and then got this red hot with a torch. But I don't have that option, so I'm going to drill out the center, and I'm just going to go with bigger and bigger drill bits until I have very little left of the bolt, and then I'm going to collapse it with a punch and try and pull it out that way. Well, that's my plan as of right now. We'll see what happens in the minutes ahead. Okay, good news and bad news. Good news is I did drill out the hole successfully. I don't want to drill it any bigger because then I'm going to take the old threads with it. So what I'm going to try next is I'm going to run a 10 millimeter by 150 tap through the hole, and I'm hoping that that is going to clean out the rest of the old bolt in there. You can see it was actually drilled almost exactly in the center, which is way better than I usually do. Usually if it's off center just a little bit, you can collapse what's left in this hole with a punch and knock it right out. I don't know if I'm lucky or unlucky by drilling it right in the center, but moral is now I have to come up with plan B, which is run a tap through it and hope like heck the rest of that bolt comes out. So we'll try that next. Well, this is kind of fun. As I'm turning the tap, the old threads are threading out the bottom. Let's see if I can pop them all the way out. There we go. How's that? Da-da-da-da. You can see how centered my drill was. Not too shabby. Alright, so now of course the tap goes right through with no problem because now it doesn't have a bolt in the way. In between cuts there, I did actually drill it one size bigger because the tap wouldn't go in the hole. So yeah, I did go one size bigger with the drill between the last time you saw something and now. And yeah, looks like we now have a threaded hole. Let's get a little better look. Focus. Come on, come on. There we go. All right. Okay, so now that I got those two, or that thing drilled out, I'm gonna run a die over these things just to clean up the threads, because I know they're pretty messed up. This is why we can't have nice things in Massachusetts, because everything rusts. Whew. This is a lot of work. All right, I'm gonna fast forward for you. All right. So, now, I got these manifolds, but they're obviously quite rusty. I've cleaned up the threads on them, and now I'm going to basically just clean the surface where they meet the head with an angle grinder and one of the cookie things. I call them cookies. I think that's the generic word for them. But anyways, yeah, so that's what's next. I'm going to clean them up. Alright, that is not aggressive enough. Alright, so now I'm going with one of these more aggressive ones to get some of this thick rust off. Alright, that got all the thick stuff off, so I think that'll be fine to mount it on the engine. Back over at the engine, now I'm going to use a Scotch-Brite pad to clean up the head surface. Maybe throw a little brake clean or something on there just to get all the grease off. Alright, so this one is sort of set in place. I thought I had exhaust manifold bolts, but I don't, so I'm going to have to order some. In the meantime, I just grabbed a couple of spare bolts out of my bolt bucket and threw them in place just to make sure that the manifold will actually fit, and it seems to. So, yeah, this side looks good. You can see there's a gasket set in place too. So I'm going to order some new manifold bolts and hopefully have those in a few days. The other side, turns out, is actually a problem. You can see, basically, if I try and set this against the head, the bottom of, well, alright, so maybe you can't see it, but I can see it. The bottom of the manifold hits the frame. So that's not great. So I'm going to have to come up with a new plan for this. I have another driver's side manifold somewhere laying around, maybe in my shed. So I'm going to probably take a look at that one. It just stinks that I already cleaned this one up and everything. I probably should have test fit it first. That was dumb. So moral is, I think we're going to wrap up for today. And I'll figure out which manifold to use, and we'll go from there. Alright, so be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Alright, I couldn't possibly wait. So I went and grabbed this manifold. This one will totally work. The bad news is, it doesn't have one bolt broken. It has 3 bolts broken off. So, I get to start this process over again. At least these ones are sticking out though, so I can hopefully grab them with vice grips and heat them with a torch and rip them out. Anyways, that's it for this episode. See you next time.